So go ahead and do this and then undo that. And we're going to be exploring Titanic today. Um, I do want some people to give me a suggestion as to where we should start. Should we start by the first? Sorry, let me. First class entrance, first class promenade, the baths, second class, third class, officers only area, crew areas, post office, boiler rooms. These are all the places we can start from, but we'll explore the whole thing. I'll just let you guys kind of decide on that while I get my comments section open so I can read your guys' comments. And you also might be wondering why you can't see me in this live stream, and that would be because, well, I just actually got over being sick for like a whole week. I had some crazy cold that turned into a bunch of other. It was really weird. It started off as like some kind of like flu kind of thing, and then it turned into, I don't know, some crazy cold, and then it just became like several days of headaches. I mean, it was just like awful headaches. So and it took like a whole week to get over that. So I'm finally over it today. In fact, I was actually fully expecting to be sick today while I was doing this live stream, but did they update the game? No. This is still the latest version of the game, version 2.1. But no, they did not update it any further. I just do this every couple of months because it's fun. All right. Well, the only suggestion we've gotten so far is crew area, so I guess I'm just gonna do that because that's the only suggestion we've gotten so far. All right. So board. All right. And but yeah, you won't see my face in the camera or anything because I look terrible. Like I said, I just got over being sick last night, so now I'm feeling a whole lot better, but I look absolutely terrible. All right, so this is one of the galleys. As a former chef, I actually really like. Oh, there we go. I like to. So I had to change the aspect ratio, not aspect, but I made the view wider so that way we can see better. Anyway, as a former chef, I love to look at galleys because you can see all the old equipment and stuff. And some of these things, some of them, I don't know what they are for sure, but some of them I do. So, for instance, these would have been giant vats, and you could use them to make soups and things or consommes. But I also think that you could have technically brewed coffee in them. Below, there appears to be something that looks like coffee beans. But yeah, basically these vats, we have something like that in kitchens today, but they don't quite look like this anymore. And then this is interesting. This is an old potato peeler. And to my knowledge, it's basically a giant drum that like you pour the potatoes in and it just circulates round and round. And as it circulates, the skin of the potato just kind of rubs off essentially. What's wrong with my chat? I don't see anybody typing anything. Let me try that again. No, I guess no one's. I mean, there's just a few people. Mr. Golden V, hello. Fun Bricks Mercenary, hello, you guys. Not too many viewers today. But then we have over here, these are the preparation tables. You've got a dishwashing sink. Oh, I never noticed these before. Well, this one is a valve for some kind of ventilation. This one, I have no idea what this thing is for. Maybe that's also for ventilation. this is a coal-fired stove. So I know that Titanic had some electric ranges and things, but I think for the majority of all their stoves and ranges, it was all coal-fired. Hello, what does this say? Metro Master. Hello, Metro Master from New York City. Awesome. And then this here is a steam-powered oven. So this would have been very good for things like, well, certain kinds of cakes and breads and things. Especially, it probably would have heated up with steam, but you could have also introduced steam into the oven as well. So that would have definitely been good for like making bread and stuff, because bread is actually really tasty when there's a little bit of steam in the oven to begin with, and then the steam slowly dissipates and it becomes drier and drier, and then that makes the bread really nice and crispy. I forgot what's down there. Oh yeah, it's the other crew areas, but we'll start up here first. So we saw the galley, but this is where the crew would eat. Not all the crew, but some of the crew, because it's obviously not big enough for all of the ship's crew. Got a little steam-powered radiator here. Oh, by the way, I say this every time I do these live streams, but if I compare the ship to Queen Mary a lot, it's because I'm really not any kind of expert on Titanic, but I do know a lot about the Queen Mary, and there are a lot of similarities, like these steam-powered heaters. And they were all over the ship. All right, so that was the galley. But over here, well, first of all, this is one of the cargo hold hatches. I forget. I think this is the forward cargo hold hatch. I don't remember. I mean, by forward, I mean like literally almost at the bow, because this here is the windlass room. So, I mean, technically, could you really call these windlasses? Because these are so huge and they're steam powered but I mean, I guess windlasses were steam powered too sometimes. Well, anyway, the point is that this is the windlass room, and you have one of the capstans here. This capstan would help to pull ropes and things. They got one inside in case the weather was too rough to use the ones outside up on the next deck. But you can see what the underside of a windlass would, or I'm sorry, what the underside of a capstan would look like, because, or wait, am I looking at the wrong one of these? Okay, so these look so similar, but the gear wheel that powers the capstans look just like this. But I do know in this room are also the machinery that pull on the anchor chains, and these could be capstans, and then these could be the anchor chain gear. They look a lot more robust. Well, I don't know. You know, see, this is what I'm talking about. I'm not a full expert on Titanic, but I do know that 2 of these were for capstans up above, and 2 of them were for anchor chains. I just don't know which went where. Yeah, so, but this is some of the steam powered engines that ran these things, and you could disengage one side from the other, but yeah, so I'm trying to think of what to say. Again, I'm getting over being sick. And you know what? These look like the capstan thing. Well, I know that Titanic had 4 of them up above, actually. So I don't know. There could still be more. It's so crazy. And this looks like a ventilation fan. You know, Queen Mary still has some of her original ventilation fans, scattered throughout the ship. In fact, last time I was on the Queen Mary, we opened up there was like a little door that looked a lot like this, but it was covered in wood paneling. And when you open it, there was a little room with a big fan similar to this one. And so, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between Titanic and Queen Mary. They are 24 years apart in terms of age and, when they were when they went into service. But the technology didn't need to change all that much between them. But we can go down here because this is one of the crew food hat. What do you call it? Like a it's a dry food pantry, kinda. I mean, these are potatoes, so I guess you couldn't say that's dry food. But in these burlap sacks here, you got things like flour and grain and whatnot. And then there would have been other hatches to get down to the other levels. There would have been multiple levels with dry food storage, all for crew. So this is where all the crew's food was. So yeah, pretty interesting. And I know beyond this bulkhead here would have been some of the crew quarters. We'll see that next. So just climb up from here, and then we'll go around. There's a way also to get to the very front where we can see the center anchor chain. Do I go through this way, or I keep forgetting because sometimes there's a certain way to get around here. There we go. So this is the hole at the very front of the bow stem. A lot of people mistake this for like a headlight hole. I've heard that before. People go, "Is that where a headlight was?" And like, no, the ship didn't have headlights. But this is where the cable that operated the spare anchor, the third anchor on the bow, was. And you can see there's a steel rope set up for that, or a cable as you call it. Back then they called cables wire ropes. So, because that's technically what they were. A cable is, by technicality, not braided. It's just a steel cord. But we've changed that up over the years, what we call it. Let me go this way. What's on this side? I keep forgetting. Oh, it's another way down to see. We'll get down there. But there's one more thing to see in this area. The middle capstan is for the center bow anchor. It's not actually. That's something I can tell you right now. Because that's what this is for. This is the winch that operates that. So if we go over here, because I was just here, but you can see there's the cable for the center bow anchor, right, going through there. And the cable attaches to this massive geared winch. And there's the motor. Well, there's the back end of the motor, but there's another motor up here. Hold on. Figure out how to get around this. Here we go. This is the gearing that attaches to the steam-powered engine. And this runs this giant drum, this winch. And that's what pulls the anchor up. So actually, these are either for the other... Well, no, actually, you were talking about... Sorry, I'm still, like, my head's still fuzzy. But no, this is for the ropes, specifically. This capstan is for the ropes. And those ropes used to come out through here, these holes. And then they would be strung this way. Let me see. Oh, no, here too, yeah. So a rope, for instance, would come up through here, and then it would connect over here to this. This gate would be shut, but it would connect to this, and then it would go around this, and you could control it that way. And you could do one or two or a couple, actually, just from this one capstan if they really wanted to. And that's also why there's bollards here as well. So if they need to tie everything off, they just put it on, wrap it around those bollards. And yeah, that's what that one was for. But let's take you to the other really cool thing up on this area. And we go through here, not down there. There's really nothing down here, in case you're wondering, because I know when I wander the ship, people are like, oh, show us more. But I can't, there's a chain here. Doesn't let me go down there. But oh, that's not, oh, right. I'm not where, yeah. So there's a shortcut down there to a third class space. But if we go up here and into this room, we're at the base of the forward mast. it'll take us to the crow's nest. Atmospheric Purgatory says, "Is this new?" Not that new anymore. It is new in terms of it being only a couple years old, but it is still available. There's a link that if you want to get it and download it to your computer, there's a link in the description below for how you can do that because it's free. Yeah, this is actually, I forgot how cool this view is because this is the latest version of the game. But that being said, this version has been out for like almost a year, I think. But nevertheless, I keep forgetting how realistic the sunlight looks because this looks so real on my. I'm viewing this whole thing on my television, so because I use my television as my computer screen, and it looks so great. I mean, this is in like 4K, and it looks so real. But yeah, we're in the crow's nest now. Okay, so I was somewhat right to a certain extent. So so there's that hatch, that big white square hatch there. That is the trying to find the best spot to look. That is the forward cargo hatch. So that was where we were wandering around a little bit ago. And then those two capstans on either side of it, they were flanking the entrance into the windlass room. So then those were those. And then the things that I thought were capstan machinery right in between that one capstan that was down below was for the anchor chains. So those are the ones that were, closest to the entrance, but right next to the one capstan down there. And then you got these two way up forward. Those are capstans. So, okay. So I couldn't remember which one it was, but yeah, but the machinery down below looks very similar in terms of like what's a capstan machinery and what's for the anchor chains. But yeah, so this is the crow's nest, and if we look up, we can see some of the rigging. And what's kind of cool about the rigging is so on these ships, obviously they didn't use sails. There was a weird rumor going around for a while that Titanic did have sails, and it really didn't. There's no reason to. The ship is so huge and heavy. There's no sails big enough in the world to pull this ship along using air power. So what the rigging really was for mostly was actually for. If we zoom that way, you can see there's 4 cable. Well, there's technically a 5th cable there, but let's not look at that for now. The 4 further away ones that are spaced evenly apart, that is the long range antenna for communications, the telegraph. And then there's also a medium range one, which is the really thick cable in between them that goes all the way to the forward funnel. And then I believe there's 2 lines that branch out diagonally like that, and I believe those are the short range. So yeah, it's technically there's 3 different in our view here there's 3 different types of antenna, even though there's multiple cables. I know that's kind of confusing. But that's mainly what the rigging was for on ships like Titanic. They didn't need sails. They just had a huge need for large antenna cables to reach farther distances. And then we can also see the way that the steel was laid on the mast as well. It's overlapping and it doesn't exactly connect on either side. So that's not like a mistake on the game. That's really how they were built, the way that the steel plates were put in. So there's the bell. I think you can ring the bell. I forget. Does it? I don't know. Okay, never mind. But here's the box where they have the telephone communication with the bridge. And let me zoom out it. Okay, too far. There we go. F for going back to where we were. Um, Terra, I don't know who Wild is, but I know Murdoch did not actually do that. That was just something that they put in the movie to make the scene more interesting. And of course, um, James Cameron had to deal with the backlash of that. Oh, I was going to take us down to the other crew areas. Okay, let me go back. I forgot that I was going to do that. All right. So, to get to the crew areas, we have to go down through here. Oh, the steers feel extra slow today. I don't know why. I don't think they are. I think it's just the thing. But yeah, here's the forward cargo hatch. We were looking down through that a little bit ago. Here is, I love pointing this thing out. This is one of the rubbish disposal things, and you would have just taken a bin of rubbish, open this thing up, and then you dump the rubbish in there, and then there would have been like a lever that you pull back, and it opens up the bottom of this funnel, and all the rubbish drops into the ocean. And I like to point out that, remember back in 1912, even though that technically does count as polluting, there wasn't things like plastics and whatever in people's rubbish. It was all stuff that would break down in the ocean anyway. That doesn't make it better, but that doesn't make it a good thing, but it is better than polluting with plastics, I'll put it that way. And then we got our water fountains and stuff for the crew. That looks like hot water. I mean, I don't doubt it, but I don't remember where. Anyway, I think we have to go down another level to get to where the crew slept. And that's only the engine, or not engine, the boiler room crew, I think, is where we can see where they slept. Oh, yeah, we have to go through here. Here we go. So this is just one of the places where the boiler room, the firemen slept. Firemen's crew quarters. And we also have access to where the anchor chains were stored. So you can see the anchor chains come through this hawse pipe and then pile up here. So yeah, Queen Mary had something similar as well. All right. I could have sworn there was more to this room, but I think that might be further below or something. I don't know. Okay, I do have to pause this live stream because I do have to go somewhere real quick. I'm so sorry, everybody.